100,000 gathered that evening. Albert Parsons, a printer, addresses the crowd.
We are assembled as the grand army of starvation. We have come together to find the means by which the great gloom that now hangs over our republic can be lifted. It rests with you to say whether we shall allow the capitalists to go on exploiting us. Will you organize? We will, and enroll your names in the grand army of labor.
The conflict in Chicago becomes a general strike. Led by jubilant brass bands, crowds of workers march through the city's industrial neighborhoods. They call on other workers to join the strike. One group, largely Czech laborers, marches to the giant McCormick Reaper Works. The Chicago police open fire. 2 strikers are killed. The Chicago Tribune endorses the new police policy.
The police are beginning to shoot lower. It would have been much better if the mayor had allowed this to be done yesterday. It was a day lost.
Running battles between police and strikers break out all over the city. Mayor Monroe Heath calls on the city's middle and upper class residents to form armed neighborhood patrols. Unlike Pittsburgh, where the strike united most residents against the railroad, the Chicago strike divides the city along class lines. On the 4th day of the Chicago strike, police fire into a crowd to gather near the Halsted Street viaduct. As the battle shifts in the city's working-class neighborhoods, the number of casualties mounts. Lyons Novikowski, a 36-year-old blacksmith, was killed as he steps into the street. 17-year-old James Kelly is shot in the head while throwing stones at the police. Chicago authorities determined that any form of resistance would be suppressed. The police invade Turner Hall, where German cabinet makers are negotiating with their employers. German workers are clubbed and shot. By that night, 30 Chicago working people lie dead. Another 200 are wounded. There are no police fatalities. The strike in Chicago has been crushed. Across the country, strikes are brought to an end. Police and volunteer militia break the non-violent St. Louis general strike. U.S. Army troops enter cities and towns, securing railroad property. In Pittsburgh, soldiers seize control of the rail lines and the trainmen's union. Here and there, resistance continues, but after 2 weeks, the great uprising is over. Americans now have to account for the strike. In its aftermath, newspapers, magazines, and books shape perceptions of the event.
What about that?
Melodrama was chosen over accuracy. Artists drew guns in strikers' hands in instances where none existed. Protesters were often depicted as animals. These accounts reinforced the opinions of national leaders who blamed the strikes and violence on tramps, the foreign-born, and communists.
What did labour by the war gain if only one makes the bargain, and the workmen must keep quiet or only be heard in riot? bosses high and bosses low, you must all be taught to know one won't do. Two, sir, two. It takes two to make a bargain.
The immense economic and political power accumulated by the railroads, the first national corporations, created growing imbalances in the nation. Americans felt increasingly powerless. Their basic rights and liberties were violated. Did the concept of freedom now mean corporate leaders could use and protect their wealth in any way they saw fit? Alan Pinkerton, whose detective agency was employed by railroads, answered affirmatively.
All strikers were guilty of preventing the movement of trains. The act of stopping trains made the strike truly as riotous a proceeding as the pillage, arson, and murder that took place.
The Independent, a religious journal, offered a widely accepted solution for such chaos.
Bullets and bayonets, canister and blade shot constitute the one remedy and the one duty of the hour. Napoleon was right when he said that the way to deal with a mob is to exterminate it.
In the strike's aftermath, police powers were increased across the country. In major cities, new armories were constructed. Militia companies were reorganized and supplied with advanced weaponry. The preoccupation with military force only obscured the great uprising's significance. Samuel Gompers, a young cigar maker in 1877 and later president of the American Federation of Labor, concluded,
"The Railway Workers' Rebellion was a declaration of protest against conditions that nullified the rights of American citizens." The railroad strike of 1877 was the tocsin, the alarm bell. It sounded a ringing message of hope to us all.
The Great Uprising signaled a new rift in American society. The issue of slave labor had previously torn the nation apart, but the goal of equality had not been fully achieved with the Civil War and the abolition of slavery. Industrial capitalism's growing power to impose harsh conditions of work and life divided the country once again. When working people stopped trains in 1877, they demanded that all Americans share in the benefits of industrial society. A new battle over the meaning of equality in America had begun.
Yeah.